Hello and welcome to some more Kerbal Space Program. So we're back in Duna orbit and we will on our next pass over one of the anomalies. So we'll decouple our space plane and we'll, actually go in for a landing. Fortunately, it's on the night side, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna land there and then we need to prepare for our decoupling here, so we need to make sure everything is refueled. But we're gonna come in, we're gonna try and land safely, hopefully that will work, and then of course I will be using quick save and quick load, because I only have the one plane and I can't afford to destroy it. We have 3 whole anomalies to check out here. So if we don't have a plane, we can check them out, and obviously that would be a bad thing. Anyway, let's refuel the RCS, we're gonna need it, and prepare for our landing. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna refuel in orbit after each flight, or try to anyway. If we don't have enough fuel to adjust our orbit to meet up with our mothership, we have several halfway spent transfer stages in orbit with which we could also dock, and which should have enough fuel to meet up with the space plane, and then we just dock with those and refuel from those. But hopefully it will be alright. Okay, so fuel should be good. Monopropellant is almost filled up. All's well there. So we want to burn at more or less the lowest point in our orbit, and that would bring our highest point will be about here, over this anomaly at 16.2 minus 87.3, and then we just come in for a landing, land somewhere near it, wait for daylight, move our spaceplane over to it rover style, and that's more or less it. Take a good hard look at it, really. So we need to wait until we hit our lowest point, not as in periapsis but inclination wise. So we'll make sure that we are controlling from here, then we want to undock. Alright, activate this engine, turn on our SAS units, enable a pair of RCS ports to nudge us away from this. Actually, I'm gonna enable all of the front ones in case we need any help with maneuvering. RCS on, push ever so slightly away, sehr gut. RCS on, find our retrograde marker and give ourselves a bit of a nudge. Okay, so yeah, I quick saved at least once before I recorded, so if I forgot, it's not a big deal. Okay. Yeah, it pulls up when it's thrusting. It does that, unfortunately. We'll bring this in to about 5,000 and then we'll fly the rest of the way under our own power if we need to. Camera, we want free camera. Alright. Yes, unfortunately it's gonna be a nighttime landing, so lights. That's the landing lights. There. I had to set the terrain detail to high. I hope there won't be too much lag because of that, but apparently the anomalies aren't properly faced on the surface unless you do that. Which means that we... well, before I did it I spent a lot of time looking for a different anomaly and I couldn't find it, and the guys on the Kerbal Space Program forums told me that apparently That's the problem. You need to set it to high, otherwise it won't work. So I did that, and hopefully everything will be alright now. We should get a bit of light once we're in the atmosphere. Everything starts glowing nice and red as you enter it. Okay. Anyway, that's weird. Okay, deploy the gears. There we go. Anyway, I've been here a couple of times testing various designs for spaceplanes, and I'm really happy to finally have one that actually works. I really am. Now this monopropellant we will save. We might want to use some on the surface for moving around and maneuvering, but we'll save this for the docking maneuvers, which we'll no doubt have to do at some point. Quite simply because this thing doesn't have enough fuel to do all on this on a single refuel. Okay, so we're still too high up. We'll have to turn around and fly back, I think, which is not particularly good for us since it will consume more fuel. Okay, it should be somewhere down there on my left wing. Can we get a glimpse of something glimmering in the distance? Not really, no. Yeah, we're passing it by, but we are dropping altitude rather quickly, so we should be okay. I hope. Damn, but we're traveling fast. I should have done a longer burn to bring our numbers down further. Okay, yeah, okay, time warp, kill the time warp. Okay, I want to start trying to turn, I believe, gently. I'm not gonna fire my engine yet, we don't need any more speed, we have plenty. Okay, and since the gravity is so low and since we have such a lot of wing, we really don't need that much power to actually fly here, and I'm gonna pull those in order to reduce my drag ever so slightly, help maintain our speed, and we are in fact turning, even if we're doing it rather slowly. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Nose down, nose down. You can't afford to move too far away from your actual heading, because then you'll spin out of control. I've managed to minimize it somewhat with this design by careful testing and balancing, but it still has its limitations. If you don't want to smear yourself all over the landscape, or litho break as it is called in some circles. Yeah, we almost spun out of control there. I'm being too eager on my turning. Okay, we've almost turned. My landing lights are on, so I can't be... Oh, frack, we are close. Right, need to pull up, otherwise we will smear ourselves all across the landscape. Okay, gentler turn, gentler turn. Okay. Okay, 20-degree up angle, come on darling. Okay, it's leveling out, we're good, we're still good. Okay, now to gently keep turning. Slightly more power than that, slightly more, we want to maintain our speed. Okay, that's good, we're flying, we're flying. Yeah, we need to turn around and actually make it to the Anomaly. Okay. So, there we are. We are turning around, we are almost managed to make our way to a 270 heading, which is good. We are turning a bit too steeply here, so let's level that out so that we Yes, you can turn as steeply as you want to, really, I suppose, but the more quickly you turn, I mean, the more you turn your plane to turn, the more altitude you lose. So you have to be careful with that, it's a trade-off. So your wings are constantly pushing against the air, as it were, and it's that pressure, for the lack of a better term, which you use to turn your ship, so that's why you rotate your craft like that, so that, you know, you're pushing against the air as it's rushing up to meet you. That's what gives you your... Okay, need to be slightly southward, so we'll make it about 255, and that should be good. Then we'll even out. Actually, let's... some mountainous crap up ahead. Let's get a bit of altitude and speed here. As long as we have the central fuel tank still untouched, we can get back into orbit. And if we can get back into orbit, I'll set up a rendezvous with something somehow. So we are good, we're good. Okay, still heading upwards. Altitude looks good, altitude looks good. We are in fact pretty good. So, okay, that's enough speed. Let's bring it down to 2 notches above 0. That should be good. Let's time warp a little bit. Have to do a few tiny adjustments. It wants to go nose down, but if I balance it out too evenly, well, that it wanting to go nose down helps it stabilize, helps it to keep it from spiraling out of control. It is a necessary trade-off, I'm afraid. Okay, so we are getting closer. Okay, I can cut the engine for a bit, since we don't want to land at too high a speed when we do that. Turn a little more. Right, what's our altitude? No lights visible there. Okay, tiny nudge. Nope, 1 or 2 notches, not 1.5. Right, I'm gonna alter my trim a little bit here. I'll test. Okay, that should be mostly trimmed out and we should be good. Okay, maintain that angle, darling. Maintain that up angle. Okay, we are climbing a bit too much. See, the thing is, this thing is really low down, and if we want to land there, we're gonna have problems with that. It's a nice deep crater right after a nice big mountain here, which we'll be passing over very shortly. Okay, there's some stuff glimmering in this distance, but that is probably just texture errors. And we are cruising. I would say this is very nice, actually. Oh yeah, for aerodynamics and aesthetics sake, we should close that. There we go. Okay. How high does the yellow crab go? About 3000? Okay, so we'll pass over it relatively occasionally. In fact, we're already passing over it. This is about as high as it gets. Very shortly now we'll start getting some lower terrain. So yes, it's starting to lose a bit of altitude, but that's okay, I don't mind. That will in fact help us, because we will have to do a dive towards the deck after we cross that cliff up ahead. Okay, we're getting close to the ground. Okay, that's a bit too much. Pull up a bit, darling. There we go, climb for a bit. Yeah, that starts to show up when you're about 200-300 meters above stuff. It's when it starts to turn into individual spots of light instead of one big blob that you really need to worry. That's when you're real close. Now, I wonder, is it... No, it's right behind that hill there. Right. Okay, so this heading, we want to land right at the base of that hill like that. Okay, I'm gonna cut my engine and coast. I don't need any more speed, I need to lose altitude. And one does that by trading altitude for speed, sorta. Okay, our altitude, how low does it go? So about 1,000 meters up, eh? Okay, want to even out, we'll want to throttle up in a bit. Okay, there we go. No, 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 down, down, down. We want to keep heading down, we just don't want to do it too quickly. Okay, yeah, this thing drops out of the air at what, about 60-70 meters per second, if one is being conservative. It's pretty good a glider, really. Haven't quite tested it that. Okay, bit of a nudge. We need to keep our speed going here, because we have a ways to go yet, and we could do that on the ground as a rover. We could. We're not gonna. And there is vast distance yet to be covered. Okay, starting to vibrate a bit, but that's okay. We can live with a bit of vibration, as long as it's not too much. And we are in, what, 2x, 3x time warp? I think we're in 3x. Yes, we're in 3x. Okay, are we seeing our weird blobs of light there? We are not, so this is about as low as it gets on Duna. Alright, 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 we can work with that, we can work with that. Fact. Okay, so now we're seeing some lights. Alright, alright, give us a slight nudge again. One notch. Should be more than enough oomph to keep us going. The really problematic thing is gonna be orbital inclination changes. Because those, I'm not sure I'll have enough fuel for those, but I have the spent transfer stages still left in orbit, which can be reactivated if necessary to take care of that problem for us. Because they most definitely will have enough fuel to meet up with the plane and to give it enough fuel to actually meet up with something with our mothership. Okay, our coordinates, we are getting close. All's well there, alright. I want to land before the mountain, before it. What is unfortunate that it will have to be a nighttime landing. And while I don't like that, I can't help it. The Anomaly is currently on the dark side. It would take insane amounts of waiting to actually wait until it was on the light side. So we won't be doing that. Okay. So essentially we are cruising right now. Nothing really happening. Stay in our thingy. Our thingy. Okay, we're getting close. It's a bit of a slope there. Okay. Well, I want to get a bit closer before I come in for landing. I really do. We want to keep heading downwards, preferably, but slow-like, cultured-like. Oh, and we're climbing ever so slightly. Nose down a bit. Okay, drifting. And I know my landing gear isn't down. That's because I'm not actually intending to land. I just sort of control drift towards the surface. Oh yeah, we are close. Pull up a bit. And the surface is in fact coming up to meet us. We are very close now. We are on a slight slope, which is not the best for landings. Okay, I'm gonna head over this thing. Then I'm gonna cut the engines, deploy my landing gear, and we're gonna come in for a landing on the other side. Might be able to see the anomaly from... Actually, we might actually just turn a bit and land real close to it. Maybe. It's kind of northwards of us from here. Yeah, let's do a flyby and land as close to it as we can manage. Why not? Okay. So, I'm not seeing any light, so I believe we are high enough up. Our heading needs to be far more northerly. So, about 315 would do, I believe. We are kind of turning very sharply. Give us a bit of thrust. We've lost quite a bit of speed there. Another short burn to accelerate us ever so slightly. And cruise on this heading, and we'll see how it goes. What's our fuel like? Eek. Yeah, that's one big long flight. Okay. I'm gonna cut this here, and we're gonna go for the deck. We're pretty close to the anomaly. We should be able to get to it relatively easily, but I'm not liking my fuel situation, so I'm gonna have to try and land. Unfortunate but necessary, because we came into the atmosphere really far from this, and yeah. Okay, my downward speed, and we're on an upward slope that is set up like that. Okay, we need to pull up, pull up, pull up. Oh god, we're gonna crash, aren't we? Did we crash? Oh my god. Oh. Okay, quick load. Okay, nighttime landings. Not my best friend. We'll try that again. Okay, so where are we in our orbit? Right nope, we are way, way, way off. Right. Okay, so I'm gonna stop the video here, and I'm gonna, you know, restart it once we are in position, and once I'm ready to set up a nice injection burn. So, yeah. Or whatever it's called, re-entry, entry burn. Anyway, see you in a bit.